Demetris Christofias was elected president of Cyprus last month on a promise to resolve the conflict between Greek and Turkish Cypriots and to reunite the island. What makes him so confident of being able to bring peace to Cyprus, and how will his communist views shape his policies? Mr. Christofias has given his first interview as president to EuroNews.
Demetris Christofias, welcome to EuroNews. What do you think was it that convinced the majority of Cypriots to vote for you?
I owe my election to the enormous and lengthy struggle that my political movement and I have been engaged in. The aim has always been the salvation of Cyprus, its independence and the fulfillment of independence through the ending of foreign interference in Cyprus. Our movement's understanding of the lives of ordinary people was important in my election. But a very important factor was the persuasiveness of our stance on the solution to the Cyprus problem, for the ending of the occupation and the peaceful cohabitation of Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots in the context of a bizonal, bi-communal federation.
You campaigned for election on a promise to try to reunite Cyprus. What do you think it is that you have that other people who've tried to resolve this issue over the past 34 years don't have?
Like I said, I have a long-standing history over many years of struggle for the peaceful cohabitation of Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots. Even though people in our country had very strong feelings against the occupation and against foreign interference, we have always promoted the idea that Turkish Cypriots are not our enemies, that through a social awareness, Turkish Cypriots are our brothers.
Your predecessor, Tassos Papadopoulos, was seen as a hardliner. You're seen as more of a pragmatist, someone who is a conciliator. But how do you reassure Cypriots on this side that you're not going to give away too much to the other side?
I think it's wrong to consider Papadopoulos a hardliner. As far as I'm concerned, the fact that people voted for me makes it clear that they have been persuaded that I abide by the general principles on which the solution to the Cyprus problem must be constructed. These principles are the relevant resolutions of the United Nations, international law and European law. But at the same time, I've given out the message that because I have very close links with Turkish Cypriots, I can promote a solution to the Cyprus problem.
You owe your election in part to the movement of some prominent DICO supporters over to your side from the side of the defeated President Papadopoulos. That's going to limit your ability to make a lasting peace, isn't it?
No, not at all. We have a programme, and this programme is well known to the supporters of the Democratic Party, DICO, and ADEC, the Socialist Party, both of which decided to support me in the second round. Nobody can say that our programme sells out the rights of the people.
Kosovo has just been recognised as independent by a number of countries, including many in the EU and the United States. What does that precedent potentially imply for a resolution of the Cyprus problem?
I believe that on the basis of the Helsinki Final Act and also international law, states must retain their territorial integrity. In my opinion, the same goes for Serbia. This precedent has no link to Cyprus. We have an invasion, we have an occupation, we have a violation of the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of the democracy of Cyprus. But it seems that some leaders in the Turkish Cypriot community and in Turkey have begun to be seduced by the idea that these two situations are the same.
There's been much made of the fact that you're a communist. How do you think that's going to complicate Cyprus's relations with other EU member states, particularly those in Eastern Europe for whom communism is still very much a dirty word?
This is not the time to analyse what the word communist means and how I believe that social justice should be applied. But since you ask, social justice is at the heart of communism. The Cypriot people are sovereign and they have the right to determine their own fate. They trust Demetris Christofias as someone who fights for social justice, as someone who fights for the reunification of his country. And they don't compare him to any other leaders from the past or the system that once existed in Eastern Europe.
Your party, AKEL, in its constitution, proclaims the creed of Marxism-Leninism. What place does that have in a modern, advanced, low-tax country like Cyprus?
Our political movement is a stabilising factor to help the economy and the state to grow, but always with a social dimension. This is the difference. We apply Marxism, if I may be allowed to say, in a very creative way. We're not dogmatic. I should also add that in our party, atheism is not a predominant feature. For instance, at least 95% of our party members and our leadership are people of religious faith.
President Christofias, thank you very much.
Thank you. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.